On our recent trip to Anglesey, we were meant to ride the BMW S1000R, but we ended up on the more sporty S1000R, which, as it turns out, was arguably the better bike to be on in that situation. But that just meant that we had unfinished business. So we decided it was about time to get naked. And I'm glad that we did, because in the glorious British sunshine, so long as it lasts, I jumped on the M Sport edition of the current model Single R, and it's safe to say that it's quite possibly the best all-round bike I've ever ridden. When you first jump on, one of the things that's most striking is that it doesn't feel much like it's been sanitised from the sports bike version, because while you do have wider handlebars and a more upright body position, the pegs are still quite high up, so the lower half of your body is still quite tucked in. Now, it feels a little bit weird when you first jump on, but sooner or later you start to realise that this offers a really good balance in terms of rider comfort and sporty feel, which I will actually come back to in a minute. But while we're talking about rider comfort, obviously being a naked bike without much of a windscreen in front of you, as soon as you take a bike like this up to motorway cruising speeds, you start to notice just how much you're now exposed to the elements. You really do get buffeted about by the wind a lot more than you would do on the R. But one flick of the bike's cruise control feature and all of a sudden you go from thinking this would be a horrible bike to do long trips on, to one that would actually sit quite nicely at cruising speed. And you can do whatever you need to bring your body into a more aerodynamic position, without having to worry too much about the controls. And on the subject of controls, everything on this bike feels just as well thought out as you'd expect from BMW. It really feels premium, even more so than the Ducati, which is an important thing to remember when we come down to talking about the price. As well as the BMW twist wheel control, which is very easy to use with gloves on, you also get some quick select buttons to allow you to switch between rider modes whilst on the move. You've also got a quick select heated grip button, the cruise control feature, and just about everything just feels right. And that's before you even start digging into the endless features available on that tablet-style dashboard. One of the only really annoying things about this is that it uses a keyless go system. Now, this isn't particularly a pet peeve of BMW bikes, this is more or less all modern bikes that use this system. Keyless go just doesn't make sense for bikes. You never want to unnecessarily add more things to your pockets just in case you have an accident and land on them, not least for those that want to ride wearing full leathers, because good luck finding a place to stash it. Besides, you still need a pop-out traditional key for the fuel tank and the underseat storage anyway, so it's just a useless waste of time and money. And speaking of underseat storage, yes, technically there is a little bit of that, but it's also worth pointing out that this is not a two-seater bike. The standard model is, but this M Sport version is not. Although it still uses the same chassis, so I guess in theory it probably could be converted to be able to carry a pillion. Now, the bike that we had was brand spanking new. It hadn't even had its first breaking in service yet, which meant that it was electronically limited to 9,000 revs. But even with that restriction in place, I found myself never wanting the twisties to end, because this just felt so good to ride on a country road. So much so that I really struggle to compare this to other naked bikes on the market, because I really don't think that that's how it should be categorised. Make no mistake, this is still a sports bike. The R already feels like a sports bike that has been taught some manners, but while this obviously doesn't quite stack up to that one in this department, the Single R is a bike that would feel fantastic on a track day. So while I conceded that the R was the right bike for Anglesey, I kind of want to try the Single R too, because it is just that good. With a quick shifter, sporty seating position, and a steering damper tucked under the front headlight, it goes just about wherever you point it. The only gripe that I have with a quick shifter, and again this isn't specific to BMW, is that at slower speeds it really doesn't work. Going from first to second or second to third, it sometimes misses a gear or slips into neutral. So yes, they work fantastically when you're squeezing the throttle on a bit, but at lower speeds you might as well still use the clutch, as it'll make things a lot smoother. Now obviously, being the M Sport version of an already premium quality bike, it is a bit pricey. Depending on whether you're buying new or used, you could expect to pay anywhere between £13,000 and £16,000. But considering the base price of the Ducati Street Fighter V2 was 15 grand, never mind the Akropovic exhaust, aero improvements, or even the V4 range, adding thousands to the price tag, this is a premium bike that deserves the price tag that it has. And don't get me wrong, I still love the Street Fighter, but this is in a different league completely. And I stand by what I said at the beginning of the video. All things considered, I think the BMW S1000R is the best bike on the market right now. Not the best naked bike, nor the best sports bike, the best bike full stop. The problem with that is, there's now a big BMW-shaped hole in my life. So, until I figure out how to fill that hole, I guess I'll see you all next time.